Guys, get ready. This is about to be a masterclass in posting and stories from two ladies that I just love so dearly. I will brag on both of them. I have heard Katie speak on stage and honestly just love her personality and love her humor. I love her authenticity. Authenticity is my love language. And then I also have the extreme privilege of having on one of my dearest friends. She is one of the very first people that said yes to me within this business. I actually told her not to sign up because she was my employee at my store. And I said, don't sign up. She said, I think I want to do this. And I was like, no, you shouldn't. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Let me get it all figured out. And you guys, she had the audacity to go on my website and sign up anyway without my permission, and then just decided to become an ambassador. So she knows some stuff. So I am excited for you guys today. I am going to be taking so many notes because these ladies are incredible at this topic. And I picked them specifically for this topic, for their consistency, for the way that they post. So get ready. Pen and paper out to take some notes. So you ladies, why don't you guys start? I know I just hyped you up, but why don't y'all start and tell everybody where you're from and a little bit about, why you joined and what life looks like now. Katie, I'll start with you.
Okay. Hey, you guys, I am Katie Weekamp. So I'm a presidential diamond. I've been in the business for 3.5 years. So a little bit of my background, I'm actually a high school dropout. I got my GED. I dropped out of college too. And, I had my daughter at barely 20 and I just felt so inadequate staying at home with her. So whenever she was 15 months old, I knew that as a high school dropout that I would have to be an entrepreneur to ever make more than minimum wage in life. So I started a little boutique in her bedroom with a whole $200 and it blew up. I sold online and I opened a storefront within just a few months. So 4 years later, I was sick and tired of working 50 plus hours a week at my store. I'm sure Ashley could relate because she had a store too. I was just exhausted. And so I had my store for about 4 years. And one day I was just sitting in there, I was breastfeeding my son. And typically when I would scroll past anything to do with network marketing, there's this video on my timeline. She must have just added me a few days before because I didn't even know who she was. And I watched the video and it talked about how much her life had changed. And I was like, well, if she can do it, why not me? I didn't even give fear 5 seconds to talk me out of it. Didn't think about what Karen would think about me. I just did it and I ran like the wind. And in 3 months, you guys, I closed my boutique and everyone thought I was crazy, but I did it and I just caught the vision and the rest is history.
I love it. Yeah, not having to worry about where the next bill is going to come from is a really nice part of this business and a side effect of working really hard. So and my girl Alyssa, hi, I miss you. You were at my house like a week ago, but I missed you.
I know. Hasn't been enough this year. Hello, everyone. My name is Alyssa Bowman. I'm an ambassador diamond, like she said. In about a week, I will be celebrating my 9-year anniversary in the company, which is so crazy, you guys. I remember when I joined and I heard people that had been in the company for, 8, 9, 10 years, and I thought that was absurd, and now that's me. So life obviously looks much different than it did when I started. When I joined, I was 22, working a retail job. Ashley was my boss. And I was also coaching club volleyball, and I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had my college degree, graduated early at the top of my class, and still just had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And it seemed like I was underqualified for any job that I really wanted to work out of college. And I wanted to lose weight. I was the heaviest I'd ever been. And I also needed extra money to justify buying the products. So I decided to jump in and just learn as I tried them out. And I thought, worst case scenario, I'll get to try the products and hopefully cover what I'm spending. And now, 9 years later, I'm married, I'm a homeowner, I have one sweet and very crazy toddler, a little girl on the way, and I haven't had a boss since I was 23. Haven't had Ashley as my boss since I was 23. It's changed my life in a million ways that we really don't have time to list, and we're kind of restricted on this. But the main thing I want you to hear about my journey is that your journey is going to look different than mine. It's going to look different than Ashley's. It's going to look different than Katie's. And that's kind of the beauty of it. Like, every story is inspiring because none of our stories are the same. So just for this week, when we do these basic trainings, just kind of throw your timeline out the window for your business right now and just focus on becoming who you need to be and learning the skills that you need to have to reach the next level.
Oh, I love it so much. And if I tear up or like get really momish, I'm sorry guys, like Alyssa, I've literally like grown up with Alyssa. So I'm just so proud. I can't even take it. So let's jump in and let's start. You guys, I am ready to take notes and learn from y'all because you know, posting is one of the I hate to say it's one of the most important because honestly, all of these basics that we're listing out really are the things you need to be repeating over and over, right? They're not a one and done thing. So I hate to call it one of the most important, but it really is. It's right up there at the top because without posting, people don't know who you are. Without posting, people can't, it's more difficult for you to invite people. You know, yesterday we went over messaging and inviting people into your business. And if you're inviting people into your business, but there's no post on your timeline or there's nothing to show people who you are, they don't know who they're joining or if they even want to join you. So let's start there. Ladies, I'd love for you to talk just a minute. You've got a brand new distributor because we have so many brand new distributors that just joined over the summer months and even in the spring. And we're so excited to have you guys. Welcome. We love you. We are so pumped that you joined this company. But those first few weeks, it can kind of be difficult getting your footing and finding your voice. So what do you usually have your new distributors post to kind of get the word out there to kind of begin their journey? What do you have them talk about, Katie?
So their first post, it is kind of like a standard of I joined this business, I'm doing this, but I make them insert a paragraph about why they are truly doing this, because people see people joining network marketing all the time and quit within a whole 5 days. So I tell them you need to make it heartfelt. So whenever people see this post, they're going to be like, oh, dang, she's really doing this thing. You know, she has a reason why. She's not just throwing up this post and they're going to roll their eyes and keep scrolling. They're going to read it. And so, you know, posting really truly why they're doing this also holds them accountable to show the world that I am going to do this. So their first post looks like that. And then over the next week, I always say, you know, you don't exactly have a story yet, and that's fine. I have people tell me all the time, like, well, I don't have a story. I can't post like you. Whenever I first started, I didn't have a story either, but I posted every single day. And some of those can seem like small things, but over 85% of America struggles. And, you know, we need to be the light to show them that, like, you don't have to stress about those things and just post about what it's going to do for you. So people see that versus seeing, oh, another one bites the dust into network marketing. So I have them post something of what they want to accomplish every single day, whether it's, you know, debt, confidence, weight loss, anything really. So yeah, we just focus on that their first week. And we do have a posting group with some pre-made posts, but I always say change it up to sound more like you, because if you are a copy and pasted version of someone else, I am guilty of copying and pasting every now and again, but I make sure I put my personality on it, because if I copy from someone who's like super spiritual and then the next day I copy from someone who's really funny, like that, people are going to catch on to that. They're going to see that you were all over the place and they're not going to be interested. So you've got to make sure you're putting yourself in there, and that's what's going to make people come to you.
I love that. I want a quick tangent here because I didn't have this written down in my notes to share everyone and just kind of remind you guys, you know, when you're beginning, I know like Alyssa and I, when we first started, the shipping was kind of delayed on the wraps those first few weeks. And so we didn't have anything. I know like September 9th was the day that I got my wrap and like was able to try on. So 9 years yesterday, I tried my first wrap on. I had no clue. And I was still messaging people up until that point and still talking about it and talking about I'm excited because, so I think a lot of people feel like they have to have a story before they start sharing on social media. And that's one of the biggest hangups that you're going to have to get over. I love what you said though, Katie, and I wrote that down because really at the beginning, if you just share your goals, that's huge. That's inspiring in and of itself. This is what I want to do. This is what I hope to accomplish. I'm so excited to start this, and I'm working really hard at this because I don't want to have to stress to put gas in the car. Who feels stressful every time they buy groceries and they're worried that their debit card's going to decline? I don't want to feel like that. So this is why I'm doing this. And I love the thought of beginning your journey, especially if you're in a place where you most of us started because of the money, right? Like if you are broke or if you are in a place where you really need this business to work, share that. That is going to resonate with people that are in that same boat, and you're going to find a trust within your following by doing that. So I love that. I love that at the beginning, you may not be able to share a bunch of personal testimony, but you can definitely share the goals that you've got and why you're doing this. And that'd be great post ideas for the first few weeks. So love that. Alyssa, what about you? What do you have people start out with?
So the first thing that I have people do is just post a really short and sweet, oh my gosh, huge announcement coming soon, something just to build up some anticipation. I have a lot of ladies that are like, I'm nervous people will think I'm pregnant or whatever. It's fine. That's the point, is to get people curious about what's going on in your page, to get some more eyes on your page. And while that is pending on their page, that's when we kind of do the behind the scenes stuff, getting them started with, reaching out to the warm market and whatnot. After that has been up for a while, I ask them what their first 3 goals are for health or finances or both. And then I help them formulate a post. I kind of have a general script, but I kind of show them how to copy, tweak, and paste. So I give them my generic post, and then I say, but with your goals, this is how I would change it. And then I have them post that always with a personal photo or selfie or something like that. But that way I've already teach them how to kind of do the copy and paste, because I do expect a lot of new distributors to have to do that in the beginning. But then they know kind of how to make those changes. So it's pretty much the same as what Katie said. I have them start with those 2 posts, and then we kind of just dive in. There's really no perfect formula for what product to share first or what to talk about. But as far as sharing your why and your goals, you guys, people don't follow a parked car. So they don't care where you are or where you've been. They want to know where you're going. So you have to show people where you're headed. Like Ashley said, they really don't care what your story is or how much debt you've paid off or any of that. That's all great. But people are attracted to people that are moving. So just make sure you're moving and sharing where you're headed.
People don't follow a parked car. That is so good. Hashtag put it on a pillow. I love it. Somebody stitch that for me. I love that. They don't follow a parked car. It's so good. I remember talking to Denise Walsh a couple of years ago whenever I was kind of doing this competition thing. And she said, Ashley, the thing you need to know is that people want to follow a journey. And anytime you are posting about any kind of journey, whether it's weight loss, whether it's financial, any kind of goal, people are inspired by that. So post your journey, the good, the bad, the ugly. They don't just want to see somebody show up and be amazing. Like, they want to see that we're real and on our way to getting there. And so, yeah, I know that those are the kind of people that I love to follow the most authentic ones. So love that. Okay. So that's about getting started. What about, so you kind of answered this a little bit, Alyssa, as far as the beginning, but like, do you have any type of a post schedule? I would love to talk about that, because I have a lot of people ask me, when do I post? How often do I post? We've talked a little bit about what to say, and we'll keep talking about that. But as far as any kind of a schedule, do you follow that?
You want me to answer first?
Sorry.
I don't have a really strict posting schedule. I kind of stick to the same thing every day. I try to post once about the business, once about the products, and at least one personal post that has nothing to do with either of them. It's typically morning, noon, and night, but I don't set a rigid schedule for myself or for my team, because everyone's on such a totally different schedule. I will say that most people's networks are online around their lunch breaks, and usually later in the evenings. That's when people are scrolling on their phones, because that's when people's kids are in bed. So it's all trial and error, figuring out, if there is a time period that works best for you. Obviously post during your peak times, but I more so just try to stick to that routine. And then once a week, I usually post about any giveaways that we have going on to get people to do host a post for me. And then one other quick tip is to prep your morning or AM post the night before. So before you go to bed, because if there's any other toddler mamas on here that wake up really early in the morning, sometimes it's noon and I'm like, oh, I haven't gotten a post up yet. But when I prep it the night before, I can easily wake up in the morning, get my post up, and then I at least feel like something is off my to-do list already before I've even had my coffee.
Which is so important. I love that. What about you, Katie? Do you follow a specific posting schedule?
So in the morning, yes, but the rest of the day, it just kind of flows. So I do a power hour at 5:45 a.m. And while I'm on there, you're like, oh, while I'm on there.
Is Jesus even awake at 5:45 in the morning?
No, he's not.
I mean, he's not even up at 5:45, is he? I don't know. I love
No,
it.
but so I like to get work done before my kids get out of bed because they are very strong-willed and drive me insane. And I like to have that time where I can get in an hour of work before they even wake up. So I wake up, I make my coffee and my celery, and I make a video of me making that looking like a dumpster fire, post it on my stories, like literally rolled out of bed. So this is not normal for me. I really, if you go watch my story, you're gonna be like, she's a catfish. So I do that first thing in the morning. And so while on my power hour, I post an inspirational quote on my Facebook. And then, so that's like my morning routine is stories and that inspirational quote to be the light in the world, you know, just be the light in the world. And at lunchtime, I always post a business post because that's when people are on their lunch break, like she said, you know, scrolling through Facebook, not wanting to go back to work. And then I actually post another business post before I go to bed because that's when people are laying in bed scrolling and scrolling. So I think 2 business posts a day are important in about 1 product post, but I'm always blowing up my stories with my personal life because people like to watch it. Like instead of keeping up with the Kardashians is keeping up with the week camps and my crazy kids, and people like to watch them. So I do that all throughout the day. But I think business posts are super important because if you're doing your host to post, you don't have to blow up your page with products, and distributors multiply your business, customers add. So that's my schedule.
I love that. Oh, hang on, I got to write down distributors multiply your business, customers add. That's good. That is so good. You know, I love that you said be a light, and that's one other tip I wanted to make sure, because I know these ladies are, and that's one other tip I want to make sure that you realize. And you guys, I'm gonna please realize I'm treading very lightly when I talk about this. Okay, so realize that I'm probably going to mess up, but I'm going to tread lightly. But I do think it is so important, and I know these ladies will back me up. And I feel like if we were all in a room together, there would be slight applause to this. Okay, so I'm just going to try to remember that because I'm going to feel nervous saying it. You have got to be so careful about the content on your page, right? If you've joined this business and you want to make serious money with this business, if you really want to move forward and grow in the ranks, you have got to be very, very careful about the things that you put on your page. Now, some people that are like me have a little bit of that rebellion in them and will go, you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to say. And I get it. You are allowed to do whatever you want. You got on this Zoom because you're wanting to hear tips from people that are doing really well in this business. And I feel like one of the reasons that we do well in this business is because we keep a lot of our personal opinions about social and political aspects off of our page for the most part. Again, doesn't mean you can never say anything. I'm just saying with the climate and everything that is going on, you have to realize that making one specific post can completely cut your following in half, because that's how divisive the world is right now. Okay. So I'm not saying you can't post what you want to post. It's your page. You're allowed to. I'm just saying, take into account that now you are running a business, and some of you have never done this before. And so we're just trying to help. I know at the beginning, there were a few times that Pam and Mike and Mark, even Cammie did, kind of pulled me aside lovingly and were like, hey, maybe that isn't the best thing to post on your page, Ashley. Like, I get that that's your opinion, but maybe share that with people over coffee, not throw it out into the world where you're also then the next post trying to find new reps. And now you have just completely cut out half of your following, right? Because of something you posted. So I say that with love. I say that carefully because we're not here to censor people in any way. That's not who we are. But we want you to be smart. And okay, so to that note, the one thing that should never be on your page ever is negativity. I love that you said be the light, Katie, and that's what made me think of this is, you guys, you should be the most excited, the most goal-oriented, the most pumped up, the most self-developed, like in the middle of all that's going on in the world. You should be the page that people want to go to. There should never be a reason for people to hit unfollow or hide or delete or unfriend, right? Because even people that have been following me for 9 years and have watched my journey that have never bought from me or have never joined my team, I still see them like my post. They're still willing to cheer me on. And I think it's because they see that it's not all business all the time, and it's not all politics all the time, and it's not all social, you know, it's very much a different situation on my page. And so they'll continue to follow because of that. That's all I wanted to say. Be the most positive person so that nobody has a reason to unfollow you, which I'll either back me up, agree. Y'all can just nod, or if you have something to say, you're more than welcome to pop on.
Yeah, because, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna
We have thoughts about this, clearly.
I put it in the chat, but I was just gonna say, like, if you had a normal boutique, like Ashley and I both have, we all three have had, if you wouldn't put it in your window display as a huge banner, it doesn't need to go on your Facebook wall, because your Facebook page is your window display now. And honestly, if there's something that you're just super passionate about, join a Facebook group and interact with people that have the same thoughts and make friends that way and bring them over to your page. But you don't need to be sharing it on your actual feed, because you are ruling out part of your network that might be a potential client or distributor. You know, it's okay to have those feelings, but I agree 100%, like, keep it off your page. Now that you're a business owner, like, this is your corporation and this is your #1 marketing tool.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I just like to think that, you know, possibly my next ambassador diamond on my team could have different political views than me. And if I'm going to sit there and spew it all over my page, they're not going to join my team, and I'm not going to change their life, and they're not going to change mine, you know? And so if you have views about politics or masks or vaccines, well, I mean, some people share about it, but I just think it's best to keep it to yourself and, you know, share it in other groups, like she had said. My mother-in-law is always getting in Facebook wars about politics, and I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we have such a cool opportunity with this business. Again, to be a light, to stand out. And right now, with everything that is going on, when all people are seeing is dumpster fire, politics, you know, hate this person, hate this group, defund this. Like, I mean, y'all, when that's all you see, and then here comes like a bright shining selfie of, I hope you have an incredible morning, just sipping on my skinny brew or whatever, like, that stands out right now. You have a chance to stand out right now in a way that maybe never we have in the history of social media before, because of the climate that is on social media. So I look at it that way. What am I doing to add value to people's life right now? I don't ever want to take away from someone. I always want to be adding value. And so think about that before you post. You know, is it true? Is it help that all those 3 gates, you know, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it adding value? Is it going to build somebody up? And so anyway, I'm not trying to be your mom. We're not trying to preach at you. These are just things that we have had to learn over the years. So take that and do with it what you will. Okay, moving on. Hey, I didn't get as sweaty as I thought talking about that. I was kind of nervous talking. I'm glad it's out of the way. All right. So ladies, we talked about your post schedule, let's talk about something kind of practical, but you ladies are really good at this. Let's talk about taking your best pictures and kind of the difference. And I know it's easier when we're doing a training and we've got like screenshots and holding up things side by side, but give some tips as far as taking pictures, the types of things that you're posting out there, and like how you kind of edit, create, do that, because it does make a difference taking that extra few minutes. Would you agree? Katie, we'll start with you.
Yeah, definitely. So you just want to make sure that your pictures don't have dark lighting. I go outside or I go in front of my window, and that light shining on you makes a huge difference. But I will say I will post pictures with and without makeup on to show people that I can do both, because I feel like sometimes when we have nothing but perfect selfies, it's unattainable to people. You know, that stay-at-home mom who desperately needs an income, but you're looking picture perfect all the time, that's unattainable. She immediately counts herself out and says, yeah, I can't do that. So making sure you have good lighting. I have a ring light right now, but for majority of my business, I was standing in window light. And, you know, you don't have to look picture perfect. Just make sure it's bright. You want, when someone scrolls down their page, they don't want to see a Snapchat filter or super dark. So what I do is once a week, because most of the time I am in workout clothes with no makeup, once a week, whenever I fix myself, I'll go outside and I will rig my phone up in the most redneck way and turn on the timer and take pictures. You know, I'll do a bunch of different poses, and, you know, I'll change my shirt a few times, put my hair up or down, and I have those pictures forever. Or every time that I go somewhere with my husband or my kids know, they are trained. Okay, we can go do this, but what do you got to do first? And they're like, take a picture with mommy. And my husband knows before we go into even just a restaurant or even in just a Walmart, he's like, you want to take a picture? And I'm like, yes. So I have them trained to where they will do it now, because they know that this is what funds our dreams. So just make sure that, you know, you're taking that time to take those pictures. And I have people tell me, oh, my life isn't exciting. I am so boring. I'm at home most of the time. But going outside and taking those pictures, or taking pictures of your kids playing, like that's what makes, your page look appealing and exciting, because you're showing your life and you're showing those things. So that's my best advice on pictures.
Love it. Love it.
My advice is pretty much going to be the same. I mean, good lighting, you guys. Face a light source that will help. Go outside, like she said. But if the light is coming from behind you, just basics of photography, that's when you get that shadowy look on your face. So face the window when you take pictures of yourself. We teach our team, you don't need to brand the company. The company already has its own brand. So just pictures of your plain products aren't as good as a picture of you with an actual product or making your coffee. For people that don't have their products yet, I tell them, grab a coffee mug out of your cabinet. People don't have to see what's in it. You can still talk about the coffee that's on the way to your house. Having 2 fat fighters in your hand with your really unhealthy dinner that night, rather than a bottle of the fat fighters. There's lots of just little things that you can tweak in your pictures to get people to scroll and just, what is that? They don't have all the answers. They're not seeing the name of the bottle or the brand. It's just enough to get them curious, because people love real life. People aren't on social media to see your products. They're on there to see your life. So showing the unhealthy pizza that you made with your fat fighters in your hand, or showing them your face with your coffee mug, people are always more likely to stop when they see people. So whether it's your face or your kids or your husband or your wife or your pets, people want to see that on your social media. So a couple of apps that you can use, Pick Tap Go is one of my team's favorites for just an easy way to lighten up pictures, make them crisp. I use Adobe Lightroom, which I know a lot of people use, but honestly, a lot of phones have great editing features too.
Yeah.
So just look at your picture before you post it. Make sure that it's bright, because a better picture is better than posting 10 times a day. I'd rather see people post one quality picture than feel like they need to post all day long.
That's so good. It's so good. This is still, I know this is silly, but we said basics, right? You guys, I know this is silly. Clean the front of your phone when you're taking a selfie. Like if you wear any kind of makeup, or just even the oil from your face can get on it when you're doing this. Or just if you have children, it will get dirty. So before I take a picture every time, I clean the top of my phone really quick, right? Like just even that simple thing where it's not like a filmy look. That's, again, sounds so dumb, but it's the truth. Like it can make a big difference in the quality of your pictures. 2 other things I jot down. Alyssa, you had a great post the other day that I love that was about the products. Alyssa's really good about using the products in a way that doesn't feel like you're being sold to, but makes you want them. And one of them was the popsicle. She made reds into popsicles for her, for herself in the middle of summer. It was like the best idea. Another girl on my team the other day did skinny brew ice. Like she bought ice trays and made the skinny brew and poured it into ice trays. And then just even those little things where we're being creative with the products. I think that's the kind of stuff that catches people's attention. I know catches people's attention way more than just posting, this. So this is actually even an old bottle. I remember it when it's at my office desk so that I can remember it. Okay. Love that. Let's talk about interest posts. You ladies are both good at this. Let's talk about some interest posts, because I feel like that helps a lot of people's algorithm. So just maybe some of your different, favorite different ones that you've got just really quick, and kind of, Alyssa, tell them what it is. First of all, what's an interest post, and then maybe give a couple of ideas.
So I refer to these as high engagement posts, anything that you will make on your page that people will want to contribute to or have an opinion on. So again, not politics or opinions that way, but people want to give you advice on everything. There's a million Karens out there that want to tell you what's best for your kids or for your diet or for your body. So you're not looking necessarily for negative feedback, but I did jot down just a few that have worked really well for me. The point of a high engagement post, like she said, is just to get people on your feed, it has nothing to do with the business or products. It's just to get new people. Because the way Facebook works is that when people comment on your posts, when you're interacting with people in Messenger, the more there is back and forth feedback, the more you're showing Facebook like, hey, I'm actually friends with this person. So by getting new people to comment on some of your posts, you're now showing Facebook that you're friends, and that Facebook needs to show them more of your posts. So a couple of quick examples. I usually just put these on a colorful Facebook background. The other day I did one that said, okay, like I have a baby girl on the way. Tell me where to get the cutest hair bows. It has like 100 comments, you guys. I was tagged in so many Facebook groups. So many girl moms out there tagged me with advice for those. And obviously it's going to depend on what stage of life you're in. But if you have little kids that are picky eaters, asking for advice on how to get them to eat healthier foods. If you love decorating, give people a few options of things you're thinking about hanging up in your living room and ask them which one they think, okay? Just give them 3 choices, A, B, or C. Share a couple of pictures. If you need present ideas for a birthday party you're going to, crock pot meal ideas, if you're running late for dinner and you don't have anything prepared. I mean, there's a million different things, beauty products. So think about the 2 or 3 things that you love or are passionate about, and things you would actually like to know the answer to, and ask Facebook, because everyone has an opinion, you guys, and you'll actually get some helpful feedback out of it a lot of times.
I love it. What about you, Katie?
Yeah, so once every couple of weeks, I do one of fingernails. I go in to get my nails done. I post 2 separate pictures of nails, and that usually always gets like 100 comments. I mean, people want to tell, like she said, people want to tell you how they feel about things. There's so many Karens, but asking, like where, what's your favorite boutique to buy fall clothes from? Or where would you rather go on vacation, this place or this place? Or, what's your favorite like hair care product or powder or foundation or whatever, just different things. So many people love to comment on there. And like she said, go into Hobby Lobby and pick out 2 different fall decorations and post those, and people will just definitely give their opinion on there. And yes, nothing that's political or something where you can have Facebook wars with, but just fun things like that. People love to comment on there and give their advice, and it definitely boosts your algorithm for sure.
Especially whenever it's a quick thing. Like I know one that I remember Alyssa doing that I copied later, and it had insane amount of comments on it, was like, I need a new vacuum cleaner. What's your favorite brand? You guys, I didn't need a new vacuum cleaner. I was all set. Okay. So it's not always like, sometimes I'll say, what's your favorite mascara? Well, like I've been using the same brand for 20, however long I've been wearing mascara. So I'm not changing. You can't convince me, but I'll ask that. I'll let people give their opinion in the comments. So it doesn't even always have to be something that you need an opinion on. My Dyson works great. I actually had just gotten one. So I'm all set, but I asked, and you guys, I think there was over 300 comments on there. People love to share. So having those and then interacting with it. So once people are commenting too, here's another tip. Once people are commenting, interact with them. You can even ask them a different question, okay? Keeping that conversation going, like Alyssa said, is going to help your engagement tremendously. The robot of Facebook is going to go, oh, Alyssa and Ashley are friends. They are communicating together. I will show Ashley more of Alyssa's stuff, and I will show Alyssa more of Ashley's stuff, right? So you guys, the other truth about the algorithm and all that, I get asked a ton, it is just so weird, and it is ever changing. So the minute you feel like you've cracked it, and I know so many times we've been like, guys, this is working, and then we'll all go do it, and then it doesn't work anymore, right? So you've got to be flexible. You've got to continue to just keep moving with what works, because if Alyssa and I were still doing the same things that we did in 2011, y'all, we laughed so hard, and Facebook memories will humble you so fast. I cannot believe some of the things that we used to post and say, but knowing that we were able to keep up, right? Like we were able to continue to evolve and change. We don't post the same things that we did 9 years ago. So realize that the tips that we're giving you right now, you guys, it's social media and technology. It can all be obsolete in a year. My biggest tip to you is just be willing to copy the right cats and be willing to change, okay? Be willing to grow and realize whenever, hey, this isn't working, I'm going to try something else. It doesn't mean your business isn't working. It means that for whatever reason on that particular day did not work, right? So there's that. Okay, so what about the idea, you guys? I always say that posting is basically your open sign. Like if you have a store, which we all admitted we've all had a store. Alyssa actually bought my store from me and had that for 3 years and then sold it because she was doing so well with it works. So we've all had storefronts. I always think about posting as like my open sign. We talked about this yesterday on messaging. Posting isn't asking. Posting is simply an open sign, but it's not the full invite, right? So when you're thinking about that in mind, ladies, what kind of tips and advice would you share for someone, you know, that they're posting and reminding them that people are always watching? Talk a little bit about that, about posting being your open sign, people always watching you, and you can't just go off those numbers. Katie, start with you.
Yeah, so posting is so important because if you post one bomb business post one day and then you fall off for 3 days, there's going to be someone else on that person's newsfeed who is posting consistently. You need to think about that your network has 3 other It Works girls on their newsfeed. They might not, but you want to push to be the most outgoing, the one that's most consistent, the one that's the most exciting, and showing their goals and showing that they're crushing this. But having it as your open sign, I mean, it's so important because we don't have an open sign. You don't just drive by our store. Oh, hey, look, Katie's open. I'm going to go in there today and go shopping. No, we got to make sure we're posting every day, especially because, you know, Facebook doesn't show everyone our posts. So, you know, you might get up one post that someone doesn't see, and then your next post, someone else will see it. So also statistics show that it can take someone 17 times of seeing something before they're finally like, okay, yeah, I need that. So if you're posting once every 3 days, that's going to take a long time. I'm not doing the math, but if you post twice a day, you know, people are going to see that every single day, and it's finally going to get in their head like, okay, I want it. You know, I've been watching you for so long, let's do it. But you just can't be inconsistent because that hurts your business, and it shows people that you're not serious. Because it just shows them that you're just like half in, half out, right? You got to be all in and showing your excitement and showing your life every single day, because people are nosy and they want to see your every single move.
Yeah. You know, and the last thing that you want is for someone to go, hey, are you still selling that? I hate when I get that message. I'm always like, have I not been posting? Why would someone ask me that? But it's funny. I'll go back and look at my feed. And a lot of times it's because I haven't been as consistent in my posting maybe that week, or maybe I posted more about my life and like no business or product really. I didn't do a very good job. And that always kind of hurts my feelings a little bit and reminds me to jump back in there like, hey, are you still selling? Yes, I am. Alyssa, also, I'd love for you to kind of add a little bit about interacting and how important that is. So like, it's not just posting. Like posting is great, but if we're not interacting, other people aren't going to see our stuff.
I will. I was just going to add to that about your open sign is, even when I had a normal business, it would blow my mind how many people, you know, I would say, is this your first time in, or how'd you hear about us? And they'd say, I've driven by your store 100 times on my way home, and I finally decided to come in. Or I used to walk by your window display every night after you were closed on the way to the restaurant next door, and finally they would come in. And posting is the same way. We just don't know how many times someone is going to have to see something before they actually step into our store. And even just yesterday, I signed a distributor that has been watching me since 2016. I had no idea, you guys, that this girl was interested, and she came out of the blue and almost joined almost immediately on the spot because she had been watching the consistency in my posting. And just one other thing about that is people are so nervous about starting something new, especially if maybe they've done something like this before and failed, or they know someone that maybe it didn't work out for. So consistency in posting is one way you show people how serious you are about where you're headed, like what we talked about earlier. And if someone messaged me and said, hey, you'd be great at what I do, you know what I would do? I would go to their page and I would look to see what in the world they even do.
Right.
And if I went to their page and I crept and I didn't see anything, I would be even if the conversation went on, I would be super nervous and skeptical as they went on to tell me how much fun they were having and how many friends they were making and how great it's been for their family when there's nothing on their page. So even if I did end up joining that person, guess what I wouldn't do when I joined? I wouldn't post, because they weren't posting. So part of the reason we post is also to lead by example. As far as interaction, one of the things that I did want to talk about today, you know, there's a lot of those short and sweet posts out there, like who would want to lose 30 pounds in 90 days, you know, taking 2 pills a day, or I'm looking for hair models. One of mine just backed out. All those cute little short product ones with the colorful background, you'll see people getting 30, 40, 50 comments, And I know there's a lot of people thinking, well, I posted that and I got nothing. Most of the reason that a lot of people are getting interaction on that, I know sometimes our team will jump on and comment just to help us out, but most of the time we're getting comments because we're consistently growing our network and interacting with people through Messenger. And that's one of the biggest things you can do to boost the interaction on your post, is actually to be spending most of your time having conversations with people, doing host to post, interacting back and forth with people. That's what's going to improve those posts. I see people all the time, those are the only posts they mimic on my page. And I see them not having luck with that, but it's because they're missing the other pieces of the puzzle. They're missing the why post, they're missing the host to post, they're missing the interaction. So interaction is key to posting. And honestly, posting is just one piece of the puzzle. Just like we talked about on the asking Zoom and all these other Zooms, these things all come together to help each other.
Absolutely. It's so good. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
wanted to say one more thing on posting. You know, posting consistently is so important, but if you are posting 10, 15 times a day, people are going to see that and they're going to say, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to spam my friends. I don't want to, you know, post that much. Or if it's someone who's been watching you and they work full time, they're going to see that and they're going to say, well, I can't do that. You know, so you need to keep that in mind, you know, that you don't have to post 50 million times a day, because if you're doing that, you could just be, you know, losing people because they're like, well, I can't do that. And I don't want to spam people like that. So 2 business posts, 1 product post, something completely different, then it works. And an inspirational quote is literally all I do on my posting.
I love that. No, that's so good. You guys, one other thing I want to make sure that we share, I've got 2 or 3, we could talk for 2 hours on posting because so much of what we do is social media. So we're even staying away from host to post, and we're still, I still have a couple more things. If you need to hop off, we understand this is being recorded, but we're going to keep going because this is good stuff. I want to talk about telling your story. And I always have to shout out Claire Flores. She just did such an amazing job. A couple of summer camps ago, one of the very first ones, just did an incredible 5-minute presentation on sharing your story. But I think that so many people get caught up in what to post and how to say it. But I would love, you guys do a great job of this, of kind of sharing your story on those business posts, so that it's not just like, you know, at the beginning, Alyssa and I can laugh because it would be like, hey, join my team for $99, you know, and that was like all we post. And we would actually think, oh, people are going to join us. We didn't know what we were doing. You know, when you know better, you do better. And so talk to everybody a little bit about how we've gotten better over the years, really with telling our story. Katie, I'll start with you, sweetie.
Yeah, so I make sure in every single post, I talk about struggle and what it's like now not to struggle. Because if people see my life now, they're going to see that as, well, you know, most people's instant thoughts are, well, she's just lucky, or this happened, this and that. So I always talk about, you know, starting from day one. Whenever I first started, I was not confident. You wouldn't have caught me. I said I would never do a live video. I, you know, was very shy. I was going through postpartum. I was all the things that you guys probably are as new distributors. And I make sure I talk about that on just about every single post, because most people who are watching you are feeling those feelings. So I love going over objections of feeling those feelings of not knowing enough people, living in a small town. All those things are me. And, you know, I live in Utopia, Texas, population like 500 old people. And I talk about it all the time because I have maybe 1 customer from here. And, you know, so it's important to show those things as well. But telling my story as in where I came from and where I am now. And, you know, I wasn't just how I grew up struggling too, how I watched my mom's car get repoed out of the front yard, you know, like I make sure I say those things, and how I'm going to get emotional, but how I never want my kids to live that life. I say that all the time. So that's super important to do, is just show, you know, maybe if you had a struggling childhood, show that you don't want your kids to live that way. You know, you might not have that story yet, but put it out there that that is your ultimate goal, is to provide the best life for them.
I love that. I love that. Oh, it's so good. I love when people say, that's all I've got. And I'm like, well, that was everything that we needed. So it's all good. What about you, Alyssa? You do such a good job of this.
So you guys have probably heard this before, but just sharing past, present, future. So where you were before you joined, where you are now, and again, where you're headed. You're going to keep hearing that, talking about your goals or where you're headed, because even being in 9 years, I'm still talking about what's next, because I know people only want to join if I'm still moving forward. So use your past, present, and future. And one thing that I do is I type out my whole story in the notes in my phone. So that way I can just take bits and pieces and turn it into captions. And every time I do share part of my story, you can save those posts, you guys. The great thing about being in for 9 years is that on my Facebook memories, a couple times a week, I'm seeing my story, and I can copy and change it and tweak it to what my story looks like now, and then I can post it with a new photo. So type up your story in a bunch of different ways. And then the other thing you should do when you're sharing your story is think about the people you've talked to this week. What was their fear? What was their excuse? What was their objection about getting started with the business? And address those things. Because, you know, there's some parts of my story that don't relate to everyone, but I can share someone else's story or part of someone else's story. I wasn't a mom when I joined, but I work with tons of moms, and I can talk about how my friend Crystal started this business with 7 kids. And I can talk about, you know, I can find a way to relate to everyone, but figure out what objections you've been hearing the most and kind of just think of that one person. You're not going to call them out or tag them in the post, but write that post as if it was designed for that specific person to see it.
Oh, I love it. That was my next note. Look, post with someone in mind. You will always write a better post when you have someone very specific in mind. So a lot of my posts that I write are very much geared toward the brand new distributor who just started that's scared, or the lady that told me no because she doesn't have any money, and I'm able to say, I get it. I know a lot of times we'll post things like, I didn't join this business because I had time. As a matter of fact, these were the 88 things I had on my plate when I joined this business, to kind of already negate that excuse for people and say, yeah, I've been there. I get it. I get being too busy, but I also get being so busy that I like rarely saw my kids. And then we never had any money left over at the end of the month. Like I never had to know what it was like to not know where my next meal was coming from, but dang, I'm in the same boat. I was in the same boat as a lot of other people where, you know, the car would break or the water heater would go out, and then there goes the savings. And then we'd have to slowly build back up or put stuff on a credit card. And that's an exhausting cycle. And a lot of people are there. And so just relating with people about where you've been. And you guys, for those of you that are new, we know you're in the middle and you're in the thick of a lot of that. We still were able to build our business on social media, talking about where we were at the time and where we wanted to go. So love that. Write that down. Past, present, future. And that remember that you're always posting. You need to be posting with somebody in mind. I want to give you guys like 5 minutes here on stories. And now I'm like already feeling like we should, maybe they're not they're really not as separate as I'm probably thinking. I'm like, I feel like we could do a 45-minute training just on stories, but drop a 1 in the comments if you are like me and you still are confused by stories, and you still, my friends, Alyssa's laughing because she's like, Ashley, it's not that difficult. She's giving me 800 tutorials, and I'm still like, I don't know, every 5 days I'm like, oh, I should put a story up. Y'all, it's not my bag. It's not my game. I'm not very good at it. I'm here to learn. But drop a 1 in the comments if you're like not super consistent or super confident with your stories, because these ladies kill it. And so I'm going to give you the mic and give you just a couple of minutes to chat about all things stories. And I know that that's a pretty broad topic, but y'all help me out here. All right. So go ahead, Katie.
Okay. So I used to, every single morning, or not every single morning, when I would make my coffee and my celery, I would do it on a day where I had a little bit of makeup on, and I would pre-record myself and I would add music to it. And those worked for me too. But now I just wake up, I set my phone up and I switch it to hands-free mode, and I put a little tan filter on it, and I press play, and it starts recording me while I'm making my celery, and I talk about what it does, how I feel, and I'm just honest. I'm like, look, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. It tastes just like celery. It's not that fantastic, but the way my stomach feels and how flat my stomach is now is so worth the benefits. And I'm like, just plug and chug. And then 20 minutes later, because you got to wait 20 minutes before you drink your coffee, I make another video and I talk about the coffee. I talk about, you know, how it boosts your metabolism, how it has nootropics for my mom's squirrel brain that I definitely need help with. And I do that every morning. Even on vacation, I make a video of me making the coffee every single morning. And, you know, maybe have a few stories handy saved to your phone that you can repost of adding music to it. But stories really aren't that hard. So then after those videos, I add a few slides of before and afters, and then I typically put a poll after it. Or sometimes I'm real bad and the polls only last 24 hours, and sometimes I miss it on accident, the last couple of votes. Like I'll check it consistently, but then I forget and I'm like, crap, I haven't checked my poll in 4 hours and now it's gone. So I will say, message me the word BOGO, or message me, pick 2, or message me coffee. And I have so many people from me videoing myself every day swipe up and say, okay, I'm tired of watching you make this every day and not drink it. Like I want this, So doing that every day is so important. Also because like I said before, it takes someone 17 times of seeing something before they're like, okay, I need it. And if they're watching you actually make it versus just story slides of before and afters, then they're going to see, okay, she's actually using this. So, I want to try it too. So people are so nosy and they follow you and they want to do what you do. Also on my story, so that's what I do first thing in the morning. So I always post like a picture of my food for the day. I do a little boomerang of my kids being silly. If I completely failed at something and it was hilarious, I make a video of myself talking about that. I'll post like a funny meme or something, or some of my TikTok videos that I'm not as TikTok famous as Ashley, but I'm known for my mom fupa on TikTok, and it's funny. And I do I don't know how you say it, Shein, the bathing suit well, they have all kinds of stuff. I do Shein haul videos and they go viral, and so I'll post those on my stories, and I have so many people tell me, oh my gosh, I got this, and just people love to watch that. Just show your personality on there, and your hobbies. I personally don't really have any hobbies, but I'm kind of funny, and I show that on there. And one of my triple diamonds, she's always like, I just need to go buy myself a personality because I can't be like you on my stories. But she goes shopping all the time, so I'm like, Meredith, post about your shopping hauls and people are going to follow you for that. And she's very blonde, so her blonde moments would be perfect too. I'm totally calling her out, but she's calling me out. It's just find different things from your life, whether it's your dogs or if you're funny or if your kids are hilarious. My daughter is hilarious and people love her. We have a viral video of her doing my makeup 3 years ago and people are just obsessed with her. And so I just do all that on my stories, and it's just like people are watching a show. And I have people tell me all the time, like, I have, It Works girls talk to me all the time, and I've never talked to you before, but you're so real on your page. I want to join you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, I have so many girls on my newsfeed, but you're just keeping it so real, or you're funny, or you show your kids and it looks attainable because you show that, you can dress up and dress down. So I want to join you. So keeping yourself and your personality on your page is so important. And I think that's why I'm able to sign a lot of distributors from Attraction Marketing, because I just show the real deal. I don't try to be somebody else. Anytime I've had to unfollow a lot of people, not because I don't love them, but because I was comparing myself to them. Like, oh my God, their selfies are so perfect. Their stories are so fabulous. I can't do that. I just keep it real and I keep it myself. And, that's what attracts people to me. So anyways, sorry. The beginning of the day, I do coffee stories and celery. Then I do, throughout my day, like my food, funny things. And then before I go to bed, I make sure I do story slides of the business too, because I am putting the business everywhere. Instagram wall, Facebook wall, twice a day, stories. And I want people to just know about it because, like I said before, distributors multiply. So I am just throwing it out there every day.
I love that. That's so good. All right, Miss Alyssa.
Okay, all of these ones in the chat, you guys, you're killing me. Stories to me is one of the easiest things that we do. You too, Ashley.
I'm sorry. I'm a 1. I'm dropping my 1. I'm sorry.
Because for me, this is the thing that doesn't have to be prepped or perfect or filtered, or like I'm not stressed over it. I only post a couple of times on my newsfeed, but I'll post in my story all day long, because it's not that it's not important, but I don't know, there's just something about it being temporary where I'm like, it's fine, it's cute enough, or like whatever, I need to post something, so I'll just be a picture of my son. And it might not be something that I would post on my feed, but something to fill the gaps, because I follow the same routine in my stories as I do on my page. I post personal, business, personal, products, personal, and I just alternate back and forth. And I might have a few slides of each thing, but I want to show people kind of what my day looks like. And I know that people aren't clicking through my story just to buy products, so I want to give them other content to look at, or polls to vote on, or quizzes to look at. I know someone asked earlier if you can do high engagement posts on Instagram, and I do that in my story. So you can do this or that, like dog or cat, mom or college student. You can ask people really quick poll questions to boost engagement. You can do quizzes and ask people questions. You can do all of the same high engagement stuff, but I typically do that in my stories. But if you guys don't already have this set up, make sure your Instagram story is linked to your Facebook story. I don't share my posts from Facebook to Instagram, but I do share my stories. You guys work smarter, not harder. I want my same Facebook friends to see what I'm doing on Instagram. So I don't need to use my Facebook stories. I just do it all through my Instagram stories, and then it goes up onto Facebook for me. So it's super easy. Get in on stories. You guys use Pinterest. Go to top leaders pages and screenshot product posts. You know, obviously if they do a live video, you can't screenshot that, but I almost always have Pinterest slides in my story that you can just hold down your finger and you can screenshot it and you can save it for a rainy day. I can't tell you how many stories I have saved in my camera roll. And you guys, if you're like me and you have 50,000 photos in your camera roll and you lose track of them, you can't remember what you've posted and what you haven't, whenever you save story slides, add them to your favorites album, or add them to an album in your phone. And then once you've uploaded them to your Instagram, just remove them from the album or delete them from your phone. But that's how I find them without having to scroll for days, is I can just go to that favorites album and find them. And then one other thing you can do, again, once you've been in long enough and you've had that consistency, even a few months, is you can go to your archive on Instagram. You can scroll up a few months back and you can use some of the same stories that you've used before, even videos. You know, I have not wanted coffee since I found out I was pregnant, which is killing me because I don't go a day without my coffee, but I'm still able to share videos of me mixing coffee or go through and share coffee slides that I've posted months ago, and I can just reuse some of those same slides. So even on my busiest days, I can still have something in my story. I always have something running in my story, you guys, and it's so simple to do. So starting today, you guys are no longer ones. We're gonna upgrade you. Every day, you're gonna use your story, and I'm like Katie, first thing in the morning, that's kind of when I like get prepped, and then the rest is just kind of as the day goes along. But you guys can do this. We believe in you. Using your story.
Oh, fine.
Let's say one more thing.
Okay, but real quick, Katie, fine. If you're agreeing to be a 2, and a 2 is someone who's like, okay, fine, I will be a reformed story, not figure outer, and we will commit to figure this out, then drop a 2, okay? You guys, here's the other thing. I'm seeing some like, well, how do you do this? How do you do this? Y'all, Google everything. Like there are YouTube videos on how, I mean, people will message me through TikTok and say, how do you get the words to pop up on your screen? Like, no offense, I want to be helpful, but I'm working my business. Like, go and learn it just like I did. I watched a quick video on how to do it. It was like 3 minutes. This is how you put words up here. So if you're saying, how do you do a poll? Just Google, how do you do a poll on Instagram stories? I guarantee you someone has made a 2 to 5 minute video that will show you exactly how to do it. Okay. So Katie, what were you going to say?
Touching on that, you have all the resources. You just have to learn to be resourceful. Go use what your resources are. I'm sure you're a part of a team page. You guys, when I got started, my upline quit 2 weeks in. I didn't even know I could reach out to the next person above her. I had no team page, no group chats, absolutely nothing. And I still went double diamond within a year and presidential within 2 years, all by myself basically. Until I got added to the VIP page, I didn't even really know anyone. So another thing is, I saw someone say Instagram isn't my friend. I didn't work Instagram until I was a double diamond a year in, and I kept saying, oh, I don't like it, I don't like it. Why not put all the tools in your tool belt? You have so many different tools. Why not use all of them? Why not use Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok? Use all of them together, because all those together can bring you so many more people. And also, one more thing that someone said was, how do you get your family to take pictures when they don't like to take pictures? Include your family in the dream, okay? My kids know that, you know, us taking pictures and us doing this and that is what's going to allow us to be able to do what the next big thing is. You know, last summer it was go to Disney. Now we're saving to be able to build a house. And, you know, they know that the next big thing is from them participating. And I have a video of my daughter jumping on my bed from when I went diamond saying, "Go mama, get the diamond." It's so cute. And, you know, just include your family and tell your husband, like, please just take these pictures with me. It's going to pay off. I promise you. You will learn them. They will figure it out. And then before you know it, they're going to start taking pictures of you at all different angles. Sometimes my husband gets like, he gets behind trees and he'll like get the perfect angle. I'm like, way to go. Thank you. Anyways, I'll be done now.
I love it. No, it's so good. Here's what we'll leave you guys with, because man, y'all have stayed with us an hour. I appreciate y'all. Here's what I know. We can give you every single resource available. If you don't use it, it won't matter. All of these tips, all of this training, I'm seeing so many things in the chat that are like thumbs upping, and I'm seeing a ton of negativity in there too. And I want to call myself out on it. I mean, even I just realized, because I saw somebody else go, yeah, stories are not my thing. And I wanted to call you out when you said stories aren't my thing. And then I was like, I just said it. I'm a terrible. And I know that what you think about, you bring about. If you immediately start saying Instagram's not my thing, stories aren't my thing, well, guess what? You're just going to keep proving your brain right. Okay. So that's why I said today, this is why I brought these ladies on, was not to preach to you guys about all the good things that I do right. I was like, y'all talk about stories, but I want it to become my thing. You know, like, why can't it be? There is no reason, with all the resources that are available at our fingertips, not to make something work. And like Katie said, finding one way to build in this business and making it the only way you build is crazy. What I can tell you after 9 years is that we used to be able to put up a picture of hair, skin, and nails and get 10 customers in 2 seconds. Y'all, it was a different time. There were things that happened then that will not happen now. We have had to adapt and grow. And I've watched this. I'll leave you with this. I remember maybe it was 2013, 2014, there was a big group that came up that was like in the top 10 and the top 20 of leaders in this company that were building these huge Facebook business pages. Right. And it was so smart, because that's what was working at the time. If you had a Facebook business page and that Facebook business page had a huge following, you could sign up. I mean, they were signing up 100 customers, forget host to post, like they were signing up 100 customers from posting like a recipe and then a picture of hair, skin, and nails right after. It was insane. And I remember then, whenever Facebook changed, and now you never see business pages or fan pages. You have to like be interactive every day to ever see stuff, or you have to pay for ads. When that changed, y'all, some of those leaders, and I miss them. They were great people, but like, they're not even in the business anymore, because they went, oh, this doesn't work for me anymore. Instead of adapting, instead of changing, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to put different tools in my tool belt because technology is always changing. Y'all, I'm killing it over here on TikTok. Like, I'm doing great. I love it so much, but I also know that I can't put 150% into TikTok, because it may be gone. It may be gone tomorrow. It may stop working the same way. So you've got to be willing to try these new things, and it may not be your number one way. Like right now, TikTok is the number one way I'm building, and I'm loving it. But I haven't neglected my Facebook. I don't completely neglect Instagram. And I will pick up stories and be better at stories, because all the tools are there, because I don't want to look up and have that one thing taken away from me and then lose my business. And so try to remember that we're just trying to give you tools in your tool belt. It's like my daughter's learning this dumb Common Core math stuff that doesn't make any sense to me right now. I keep telling them, this is just another tool in your tool belt, right? Like, I'm trying to stay positive about it so that we don't completely shut down, because I want to. And then the very last thing that I wrote down that I wanted to make sure and share with you guys is that inactivity breeds fear, and activity produces courage. Inactivity breeds fear, activity produces courage. And so remember that the longer you go without working your business, without posting, without messaging, without following up, you begin to feel fearful of it. It feels like this thing that you can't do, or that you can't learn, or that you don't know how to work. And I'm here to tell you that getting out there, and the theme of this whole Back to Basics series is just going to be, you've got this. You can do this. Stick with the basics. We're behind you. We love you guys. We're praying for y'all. Thank you. Oh, look, we're all taking, look, hang on, guys. I got to add to my stories. Hold, please. Hold, please. Everybody smile. All right. Jeez. Oh, aren't we so cute? I'm about to post to my stories. Y'all aren't even going to know. You're going to be messaging saying, Ashley, okay, enough with the stories. All right, I hope we gave you guys tips that you can take away, that you can use and implement. Again, thank you for your time and being on here. Now it is time to go and do. All the knowledge in the world will not help you if you do not go out and put it into action, okay? So high five. Thanks, ladies. Y'all are amazing. I love you. All right, everybody have a good day.